up and get your joy up. Embrace this brand new day. Let light and love fill you up. Get your morning cup of Jubilee. So much goodness waiting, so much overflow. All this anticipation. Morning cup of Jubilee. Faith, love, and joy, the equation. Feeding your soul, you're amazing. Daily you're celebrating. Morning cup of Jubilee.
Good morning. You have tuned into Morning Cup of Jubilee. I am Jubilee, and I help people heal, realign, and move forward with purpose. Listen, have you ever found yourself asking, how much longer? How much longer until the breakthrough comes? How much longer until I see the thing I've been praying, hoping, and working toward? Waiting can be difficult, especially when you know something is possible, but you don't know exactly when it will happen. Maybe you're waiting for healing, waiting for an opportunity, waiting for a relationship to be restored, waiting for a dream to come to life, waiting for the next chapter. But here's what I've learned. Waiting doesn't have to be wasted time. There is purpose in the process. There is growth in the journey. And today, we're talking about how to stay patient while you wait. And we'll talk more about that when we get back from today's play of the day.
I've been thinking about tomorrow instead of drowning in the past. We had good times even back when dreams were all we had to last. So as I wake up this bright morning, nothing's gonna bring me down. Waves are singing, wind is warming. Summer's here to stick around. I still remember me before you. I will no longer need your rescue, and I still remember me before you. I'm no fool. Tell them I'm no fool.
I really hope that you enjoyed today's play of the day. That was me, yours truly, singing Still by Sanabo Say. And my sister, Mandy, sent me that song. I fell in love with it, and I've been singing it ever since. So welcome to Morning Cup of Jubilee. All right. I am Jubilee, your host, and I help people heal, realign, and move forward with purpose. And I'm so grateful that you have chosen to tune into Morning Cup of Jubilee. And as I said before today's play of the day, we're talking about patience today, okay? We're talking about what to do while we wait and really how to wait. You know, there's a way to wait that is really uplifting and that keeps us grounded. So again, welcome, and let's get into today's sip of inspiration, right? We're talking about patience, not just patience when things are convenient, not just patience when everything is going according to our plan, but patience when life is stretching you, patience when the process is taking longer than you expected, patience when you're in the middle place, that in-between place where you left where you were, but you ain't get to where you want to go yet, right? That kind of patience. And so what is patience? The dictionary defines patience as the ability to endure delay, difficulty, or suffering without becoming annoyed, upset, or giving up. See? Some people thought patience was just about waiting. Nope, it's about how you wait, okay? It said without becoming annoyed, upset, or giving up. And I really love that definition because patience is not passive. Patience requires action. It requires endurance. It requires a decision to continue moving forward, even when the timeline doesn't match what you imagined. A lot of times we think patience is only tested by unexpected outcomes when something happens that we didn't see coming. But sometimes patience is tested by something we already knew would take time. Think about earning a degree. You know the program is 2 years, 4 years. You know that there are assignments, exams, papers, projects. You know there is a process. But even when you know the timeline, there are still moments when you have to remind yourself, keep going, stay committed, stay committed. The work I'm doing today matters. And life is the same way. Sometimes the waiting isn't because something went wrong. Sometimes the waiting is simply because growth takes time. And so I got some reminders. Okay. The first is embrace the journey. Hi, thanks for tuning in. Yeah. So we're talking about patience today. Okay. Embrace the journey, not just the destination. I can't say this enough. One of the biggest lessons I've learned is that we have to be careful not to become so focused on the finish line that we miss the beauty of the journey. Yes, dream about the future. Yes, believe for what's ahead. Yes, keep your vision in front of you, like I said last week. But don't become so consumed with where you're going that you miss who you're becoming in the process. Because there are things, the journey and the journey alone teaches you. It teaches you that the destination could never. There are things, and I'll say that again clearer. There are things the journey teaches you that the destination never could. There are lessons and there are relationships and there is healing and there is wisdom and there is strength. And sometimes there's newfound friendships and relationships and community and wisdom. And there are parts of yourself that are developed only because you had to walk through the process. And I always tell people, I don't trust the process. I trust the God of the process. If God is allowing us to experience a certain thing, that I trust that He's walking with me hand in hand to get me both through and to where I'm supposed to be. Okay. That's a whole nother topic, right? About trusting God. All right. So ask yourself, what is this season teaching me? What am I learning about myself? How am I growing while I wait? Look for the jewels in the journey. Reminder number 2, find company while you wait, honey. You ever be waiting at the bus stop or waiting on the grocery line and make a friend and end up chatting about something? Find some good company while you wait. Another thing that helps us remain patient is finding good company while we're waiting. Waiting seasons can feel lonely, but they don't have to be isolating. Find people who encourage you. Find people who speak life. Find people who remind you of hope and remind you to be hopeful. Be curious. Learn something new. Create something. Have meaningful conversations. Continue becoming. Don't put your entire life on hold because you're waiting for one thing to happen. You can still grow. You can still laugh. You can still create. You can still experience joy. Okay. Reminder number 3, celebrate the milestones. And I did a little research here, right? And here's something else that helps us stay patient while we wait. Celebrating the milestones. Sometimes we become so focused on where we're going, right? Almost like when you're in really bad traffic and you forget you're going to a wedding. Going to a wedding is supposed to be so beautiful to witness, that people, it's nuptials and all of that, but the traffic's so bad, you done forgot about it, and you get there, you're just frustrated, right? It's like, no, don't be so focused on where you're going that you forget to acknowledge how far you've already come, right? And celebrate the small wins along the way to the destination. Celebrate the first step. Celebrate the progress. Celebrate the moments. Celebrate the moments when you choose yourself. Celebrate the moments when you kept going, even when it was hard and you wanted to quit, because progress deserves to be recognized. And there's research behind this. According to psychologist Teresa Amabile, I hope I said that right, and her research on the progress principle, meaningful progress, even small wins, can have a powerful impact on motivation and our overall experience as we work toward our goals. In their research, Amabile and Stephen Kramer found that making progress in meaningful work was one of the strongest contributors to positive inner work life. So, celebrating milestones isn't about pretending everything is perfect. It's about recognizing evidence that you are moving forward. Don't wait until you reach the destination to experience joy. Let yourself find joy along the journey. Reminder number 4, guard your heart. Guard your heart while you wait. The final thing I want to say, okay, I want to encourage you to do is guard your heart. I want to encourage you to guard your heart. Guard your heart while you wait. Your heart is a garden. Your mind is a garden. And so it needs to be weeded and it needs to be watered, okay? Because there are things that can be sown in your mind and in your heart, right? As a man thinketh in his heart, so is he. And you want your garden to be well cultivated. You want it to be growing and all the beautiful fruits and vegetables and flowers to be sprouting up and not eaten up by weeds and thoughts and mindsets and perspectives that choke it out so that your garden doesn't experience growth. Okay. So you got to guard your heart, okay, while you wait, because waiting can become heavy if we allow disappointment to take root. Waiting can turn into frustration. Frustration can turn into resentment. And resentment can steal the joy from the very season that's preparing you. So pray. Speak life over yourself. Pay attention to the conversations you're having, the words that you're speaking, what you're professing, what you're believing, what you're coming into agreement with, what you're accepting. Be mindful of the words you repeat, because what you constantly speak, you eventually begin to believe. One phrase that I remind myself of during difficult seasons is, "This too shall pass." My mom always says it too. This too shall pass. And you know what? It always does. Every difficult season I've walked through eventually changed. Whether it was breast cancer, right? I'm a 2-time breast cancer survivor, whether it was going through a tumultuous divorce, whether it was transitioning into single motherhood that I didn't ask for, I didn't sign up for, but here we are, right? And learning how to manage all the different pieces of being a single mom, relocating, not knowing anybody. Hello? Being unemployed for almost 2 years, waiting for employment, waiting for contracts for my business. Every painful moment eventually had an ending, otherwise known as trouble don't last always. It always has an expiration date, okay? And so every painful moment eventually had an ending. And it wasn't always on my timeline. And it wasn't always the way I expected, but it passed. And yours will too. So today, if you're in a waiting season, if you're waiting on anything, I want to encourage you. Embrace the journey. Find good company while you wait. Celebrate the milestones. The milestones matter. And guard your heart. Your heart is your garden. Your mind is your garden. It's an ecosystem. And you have to be careful what you let in there. And remember that your process has purpose. Don't just count the days and go through the process like, oh, drudgery, can't wait till this is over. Even though that may be true. And I get it. Sometimes we do have experiences that we're like, oh my God, can't wait till this is over. But baby, don't wait till the rain stops. Okay. Dance in the storm. Make the days count. Because one day you'll look back and realize that the waiting wasn't empty. The waiting was preparing you. All right. And I want to thank you so much for joining me on another episode of Morning Cup of Jubilee. If this episode encouraged you, please share it with someone who may need a reminder that they can keep going. And remember to tune in every Wednesday at 7:30 a.m. for Morning Cup of Jubilee, wherever we drop encouragement that uplifts, inspires, and restores. Where we drop encouragement that uplifts, inspires, and restores. And until next time, take care of yourself. See you next week. Bye-bye.